Table Talk today. We're at Volume 4, Issue 5, and today is January 31st. We are to the end of January, and I, for one, am happy because I feel like there have been many weeks and days and months all packed into one month. So we have a lot to talk about. It's been a minute since we've all been together, but there's a lot of good information in this issue, and I know that's what you're here for, so let's just get right to it. Here's our overview slide that you can always refer to when you're trying to find out which Table Talk had that topic that you need more information on. And as always, we're going to start out with our reviews and reminders. First up, we want to say a great big thank you to you, our directors. Recently, Angelise received this letter. It's a letter of merit that was sent to Angelise recognizing Alabama for their great response rate to this census. It's signed by Cindy Long, our Deputy Undersecretary, and it's for your efforts in responding to this survey. The state of Alabama had a really high percentage, high response rate, and they just wanted us to know that we were being recognized for that. So we felt like you deserve that recognition. So thanks, guys, for making Alabama look so good. We know you get a lot of fill this out, answer this survey, and they're all important, and we appreciate it when you help us out. Next up is all about Produce Safety University. And so for this year, these participants will get to attend Produce Safety University. Rachel Fowler in Homewood, Christy O'Leary out of Tuscaloosa County, Crystal Patterson from Lee County, and our State Department's own Susanna Yoder. They will all be participating in Produce Safety University this year. I think some of them are going to Phoenix. I think that's right. And I'm not sure if everybody is, but guys, Produce Safety University is a great program. It's a week-long training that USDA puts on, and you get a lot of fantastic procurement information, a lot of food safety, especially when it comes to produce, obviously, and farm to school info. It's a great time to travel to a different part of the country, collaborate with people from all over the country. We're asked every year to recommend people who might want to attend. We try to look to see who's been, who hasn't. If this is something you've never done and you're interested, please let your area specialist know and we'll keep you in mind for next year. And this program is also one that you can self-nominate. So you can always reach out to USDA and say, hey, I want to do Produce Safety University. And I don't know exactly how they decide how many every year and all that, but it's a great program, and we're glad to see these people going. We know they will represent Alabama well. Also, oh man, the snow. I love the snow. I know everybody didn't, but I did. But if it affected your calendar, remember to update your online agreement to reflect operating days as they actually happened. If you need assistance with making revisions to your online calendar, reach out to your area specialist and they can help you. But we just wanted to remind you all that happens in a mad rush, and sometimes it seems like a blur, and then we forget it gets time to submit an claim and you don't have your calendar right and all that. So if you need to take care of that, get your calendar updated. Also, another reminder, tomorrow is February 1st, and that's a big day in CNP, isn't it? You should have completed all of your on-site monitoring by now, or by tomorrow. So everybody don't jump off at once and go, oh shoot, and grab your review forms and leave us hanging. But today's the last day, I guess, since today's Friday and tomorrow's the 1st. So that always is the date, February 1st, for the on-site monitoring to be complete. And just as a reminder, with the new year, some people, when the new year rolls around, they will start a snack program. So be reminded that within the first 4 weeks of initiating an after-school snack program, you need to do that monitoring. And then that after-school snack program also requires a second monitoring prior to the end of the program. So just a couple of reminders about on-site monitoring. Now, buckle up. It's been a minute, and we are ready for our monthly memos with Mr. Langston, and there have been a few since we were together last time. So, Chad, I am going to give it to you, my friend. If I can find you. Where is he? Okay, Chad has gone MIA. We are not sure what happened, but we're going to check on him. So I am going to move us on. I am sorry, y'all. It's this new year thing. I don't know what's going on with us, but we will come back to that because I know everybody likes to have Chad break down the memos for us. So we're going to jump on to Susanna Yoder. And I see her sweet face, and here she is.
I'm here. I'm here.
All right. Have at it, my friend.
Okay, so the first topic, we've got several things that we'll be talking with you guys about. Robbie, it's not letting me move forward. There we go. I got it. I just wanted to get back with you. We collectively, as the state staff, wanted to get back with you. It's been a minute since we were at fall conference, but we all had opportunities to get together in our individual areas. And we wanted to let you guys know that the talking points within each area, we came collectively together as a state staff to share what some of those common concerns were. And the talking points that we had there became our talking points at the state. And as we all know, things are very thoughtful and very carefully considered. So change often seems a little bit slow. But honestly, all of these topics are things that have been passed back and forth between each of the state staff members. But these are some of the things that we talked about. We felt like it would be nice for y'all to see what happened in the other area meetings. But from the perspective of training and support, that our director said that they would like to either continue or develop more completely from the State Department was that administrative review preparation and looking at how we organize that by the types of systems and the way that we do our pricing options. We also heard a lot of feedback about wanting financial procedures. That's always something that's a little intimidating and so very detailed. And we have made some plans in place. You know, spring is always a financial training time, so we'll be looking at that there. Just general program refreshers. We've had some opportunities for seasoned directors, veteran directors to go back through as mentors to some of our new directors, and they really enjoyed the opportunity to have just that overall general program refresher. And then the summer programs training, which we'll hear a little bit more about in just a little bit. Some of the shared concerns that we saw across the state first and foremost was staffing, turnover, and just general human resource concerns. That takes up so much of our directors' days, and we're aware of that and have some plans to help with that, which I'll share in just a minute. Other concerns were about who to contact at the state and then timeline for responses. We are very aware of that and know that with our schedule of traveling that we need to be responsive to the questions that we get. And so that has been a point of discussion in some of our staff meetings. Consistency across the administrative review process. Julie has talked with us every single staff meeting about the importance of us being consistent and sharing and communicating with each other so that we are consistent there. But that was a concern that was brought up. And then across the state, looking at our DC levels and they're dropping and looking at what might be the cause behind that. Moving forward, some of the suggestions that our directors provided, we want to hear from you. We want to know how we can better serve you. So these are some of the things that across the different areas seem to be in common, but putting together a shareable program specific information. We have a directory that Lakeisha has been working on. That is a pictorial director, which is nice to have a face and a name to put together, but looking for maybe a little bit more meat to that information, maybe within our areas that we'll be able to share so that you can really find who you might want to talk to about a specific topic. Looking at clarity in the DocuSign process, that's absolutely understood and heard and has been a continual point of discussion. We talked about timing of the DocuSigns and constant contact emails. The Friday and afternoon times were expressed as a time that you would prefer not to receive some of those really important or detailed memos that were coming out. Across the board, it seemed like those area meetings were a success and that something that would want to be continued, whether it was at conference or even outside of conference time. And then specifically looking at maybe providing some avenues for our directors to connect on programmatic issues, but then also professional pursuits. And so from that, there's 2 QR codes here, totally optional. If it's something that sounds interesting to you, check it out. If it's not, you can, don't worry about it a minute, but we have heard time and again how much it would be a needed training or even just a support or roundtable discussion about human resources. We function alone within our districts, and it would be so nice to be able to collaborate together. So the left QR is just an information request. You're not signing up for anything. You're not putting anything on your calendar. We just want to know, how would you like to receive this type of training? If this is a training that's needed by directors, we want to do it the way in which you guys need it. So this is just an information request. It's maybe 5 or 6 questions that give us an idea of how you would like for that to happen. And then on the right side, for those of you who are taking the SNS soon, this spring or this summer, I've had several directors bring to me the idea that they would really love to form a study group. So if you're taking the SNS soon and you would like to be a part of a study group, or at least just see what it's about, this is just going to be kind of an initial meeting just to see who's there, who's interested, and how you might like to connect and study together. That obviously is a big test and a stressful test, so it's nice to have some faces together to talk through that. So complete either one of those QR codes that you're interested in, and we'll take that information and keep moving forward. The point in these area meetings is to hear from you, come back together as a state, and then move forward with some improvements in how we can serve you. So thank you guys for your participation there, and there will be more opportunities moving forward for us to do our area meetings. Did Chad make it back on?
Yes, Chad is back on, so I am going to go to him, and I'm going to get back to his slides for him. Well, I'm going to try. Y'all, I apologize. Chad, are you able to move your slides now back? We're having to right click page up, page down is what's working. Yeah, there we go. Okay, y'all don't panic. I'm going to bop out and come back in and see if I can get my bugs worked out. Chad got his bugs worked out. So, Chad, it's all yours for a minute.
All right, thanks, Robbie. Well, good morning, everyone. I apologize for getting this out of order. I got a blue screen of death on my laptop 5 minutes before Table Talk kicked off, so I've been scrambling trying to get back online. But we're going to get started on monthly memos. And normally we have 1 or 2 slides worth of information, but since we haven't had Table Talk in a while, I've got 6 slides worth of emails that have gone out to you guys since late October. So we're going to do Cliff Note version since there's so many. Some of these things will be discussed in topics later. Some of these are just references. So I've highlighted the ones that we'll talk about and the ones I really want you to focus on in red. First one being a USDA memo that went out November the 5th. And this was our first series of SP memos, school program memos for SY25. So we had SP01, 02, and 03 all released to you guys on November the 5th. For SP01, it's regarding milk requirements for our upcoming school year, so SY25-26. That requirement will go into effect July 1 of 2025, so in a couple of months. And there's no real big changes. We're still going to be able to do unflavored and fat-free, or fat-free and 1% flavored and unflavored milk. The only big change is that they're lowering the added sugars to 10 grams per 8 ounces. So curious to see how that impacts our distributors as far as repackaging, if that's going to affect some of the milks at all. SPO2 was a Q&A document regarding substituting vegetables for fruits at breakfast. You know, we've had through appropriation memos the last several years where they've waived that requirement. Most of you guys are not doing that. Some of you guys serve hash browns at breakfast, but you don't do it in substitution of the fruit. You just do it as an addition. So I don't really think that's a super impactful memo for most of you, but you do have it if you want to go through and look at some of those Q&As. SPO3 was regarding some impacts for U.S. territories. Obviously, that one's not going to be applicable. So if you're trying to save some time on reading, you can probably pass over on that one. We had our reminder on verification. Obviously, that's long past, but I hope for all of our pricing entities, you guys were able to do that by that November 15th date. Then on this page, we had SPO4 come out on November the 7th. And this is regarding the fees for electronic payment services in our program. We're going to have some time with this one because it doesn't go into effect until school year 27-28. So obviously we've got several years for our software companies to work on this. And we're still following up with USDA to get clarification on if allowing cash or check payments, at front office or at point of sale circumvents this requirement, or if they mean that all of our students, regardless of eligibility, have to have access to prepayment software if you have that in your district, which most of you do at this point, without any added fees passed down to them. So again, you got a while to work it out. Software companies are going to have a while to work it out, but we're still trying to get further clarification on that memo, because there's a couple of parts in there that you can read and interpret one of two directions. So again, trying to seek confirmation on that, and as soon as we get that, we'll get that information out to you guys. We also had SPO 5 2025 that went out November the 13th, and this was some guidance on CN labels and product formulation statements and crediting documentation. So ultimately, we're responsible. You guys are responsible as the sponsors of the program to ensure that you've got documentation to support how you credit your menu items towards meeting the meal pattern. For those of you that are on statewide bid, all of our items, Tammy works really hard to get those product formulation statements, CN labels if we have them, any kind of contribution information for those items. But for your supplemental bid, for those of you that do supplemental bids, or for those of you that are not on statewide procurement, you're responsible for maintaining that documentation. So this just goes into, it's a fairly lengthy document, but it just goes into kind of what the background behind CN label program is, and some general information regarding that. So I don't think that would necessarily need to be a priority read for you, but if you have some time, I think it would be good to go through it at some point. Also on this slide, you can see there's a lot of information that went out for those of you that went to fall conference in Point Clear. A lot of the agendas and presentations were sent out in mid-November. So if you guys missed those and need some information, you can find those on those dates listed below. On this slide, we had a USDA memo, and it was an updated policy memo regarding basically the SPO 5 that we just discussed, where it talks about CN labels and product formulation statements. So it's just supplemental information to go with that SPO 5. It's got some links and things for reference. We also sent out a state memo on December the 13th regarding the unexpected school closures and the prep guide. And so that's got your QR codes, and a lot of you have already used that with our unexpected winter weather that we had the last couple of weeks, as far as having to do the unanticipated school closure waivers. So that's just additional information regarding that process. The last one here, the USDA memo went out on December 17th. It's just regarding an update to their translated prototype applications. So for those of you that need additional languages for your free introduced apps, again, USDA has added an additional 10 translated versions for you guys to utilize. On this slide, USDA issued a public comment opening on grain-based desserts and yogurt. It closes March the 27th, I believe. Let me pull that up. March the 26th. So if you guys have any desire to comment on if you would like to see grain-based desserts eliminated, or if you would like to see those added above the 2-ounce requirement currently, or if you have any comments regarding protein, what they're really asking for with the yogurt, is do you want to keep it a mainline requirement for yogurt across the board now that we have so many Greek yogurt versions, and those from a nutritional profile are vastly different than your just generic type yogurts? Are you wanting USDA to split those requirements between regular yogurt and Greek yogurt, or do you prefer it just to stay the same? So again, if you have any thoughts on that, you can issue a public comment to USDA anytime between now and March the 26th. There's also a USDA memo that went out on January the 3rd regarding the real property reporting requirements. Justin's going to talk to you more about that in Top Topics. I know a lot of you guys have had questions about that in the last few weeks. Then we had another USDA memo that went out January the 6th, SP07. And as a dietitian, I thought this one was pretty groundbreaking for our profession, and the fact that USDA is now allowing registered dietitians to write scripts in the school nutrition program. So maybe that will help with cutting down some of what appears to be maybe not 100% truthful medical strips that are coming in, where, I know you guys have all seen they can't have milk, but they can have ice cream scripts. So, maybe this helps. Maybe it doesn't have much impact, but again, I thought that was really good for our profession. On this slide, we had a state memo that went out. We've been talking about this kind of each quarter since July, but our deadline for our private schools only, to submit their ISP report was January 17th. We've got some of those in, but we're still missing quite a bit. So we're going to be following up with you guys. If you're a private school and you qualify for CEP and you're going to want to utilize CEP next school year 25-26, you really need to get those forms in, because we have to validate your ISP percentage before we can enter that into our application. So again, if you're eligible for CEP, if you want to utilize CEP, we really have to have those in. For those of you that have submitted them, we appreciate that. You can update those forms at any time between now and April the 1st. On April 1st, we have to lock that data in. So if you get any additional students between now and April 1 that you want to add to your form that's going to improve your ISP, you can absolutely do that. Again, we can update that all the way until the 1st of April, but we've got to have those in for those of you that want to participate in CEP next year. Again, private schools only. Then we had a state memo that went out January the 8th. Devin's going to talk about this more in Top Topics, but we've got some coffee guidance for a lot of the conversation around the Moo Brew that Jana puts out. We think one aspect of it's really, really good. It's going to help you guys. And there's one aspect of it that's not so great. So Devin's going to talk more about that in a bit. And then final slide, state memo went out just 2 days ago, January 29th, regarding the CMP financial report. I know you guys have been waiting for that to come out for quite some time. Finally got released a few days ago, and Joe is going to talk in more detail about that in Top Topics coming up. So again, I know that's kind of an abbreviated version for all of that information, but you got a catalog there to go back and check any of those releases that you may have missed. Again, as always, if you have any questions on any of that content, put it in the chat, shoot us an email, and we will try to get back to you as quickly as we can. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Chad. So next up, we're gonna skip through these and get to Devin. And she's got it. So Devin, it's all yours. I think we're on track now, guys. We're good.
All right, good morning, everybody. I have several different topics to tell you today, but many of them are fun, so I hope you enjoy them. The first one that I'm going to talk about is in regards to the coffee guidance that was released that Chad mentioned. We released this on January the 8th. We've just received a lot of questions from directors about the Moo Brew in particular and coffee in like high schools. And so we hope that this will be beneficial to you all. If you haven't read this guidance, please make sure to print a copy, read it. I will be going over it thoroughly this morning. But we received some clarifying guidance from the USDA. None of this is newly released from the USDA, however, but we're just going to talk a little bit about it. Okay, so first up, we're just going to be talking about coffee as part of reimbursable meals. So coffee and sweetener may be added to 8 ounces of fluid milk before or after the point of sale. There was some controversy around this and if it could be added. So good news is, blanket statement, it's fine. The recipe must include 8 ounces of milk in addition to any sweeteners in coffee. So therefore, the cup size must be greater than 8 fluid ounces to ensure that minimum milk requirement. If the coffee or sweetener has added calories or sugars, this must be included in the nutrient analysis. And this is to note here, but any added sweeteners must be factored into your calorie limits. And coming into school year 2026, it must adhere to added sugar limits for flavored milk. So this coffee that you're making as part of your Moo Brew may be counted as part of a reimbursable meal if you have that 8 fluid ounces in it. However, note that your commercially prepared coffee flavored milks that are already pre-bottled, such as lattes, these cannot be counted as part of a reimbursable meal because they do not meet the federal standard of identity to be labeled as milk. So this came to us from the USDA, and how these drinks are trying to label themselves is as a latte. So USDA would say you cannot serve commercially prepared coffee flavored milks as part of your milk component for reimbursable meals. So up next, we have your coffee and a la carte. So 1% or fat-free milk when offered as an a la carte item may be flavored with regular coffee and sweetener. So it's allowable. There's certain stipulations, however. The coffee beverage must meet Smart Snacks standards for other flavored and or carbonated beverages in the Smart Snacks products calculator. I have a screenshot of this over on the right on what you will need to select when you're entering this into your Smart Snacks calculator. Interestingly, calories from 1% or fat-free milk do not count towards the calorie limit when incorporated into the coffee beverage. This is something that actually has been out there for a while that has just recently been brought to our attention. So that may provide you with some flexibility here. Do note that commercially prepared coffee must meet Smart Snacks standards for other flavored and or carbonated beverages in the Smart Snacks products calculator. And I will mention that on administrative reviews, when we review these, most of these are not compliant. They do not meet the other flavored and or carbonated beverage requirement. So my recommendation would just be to take your pre-bottled lattes and go ahead and enter those into the Smart Snacks calculator and see if they meet, see if they're compliant. So that's what I have for you guys on coffee. Just a quick note on that. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me or email me. You can also email the main line, the CNP NSLP, and your specialist could talk to you about it too if you would prefer to speak with them. But we want to make sure that you get the guidance that you need on this. All right, so I am so excited to talk with you guys about this. We have just received a lot of feedback from you guys that your staff love hands-on training, that you cannot get enough of culinary training, that you find it to be so beneficial for your school meal program. So we would love to be able to get that to you. So we have a new grant opportunity for you guys, and we are calling it Alabama's Farm to School Culinary Challenge. So we are able to do this program with our Farm to School Formula Grant funds. And a couple things I did want to quickly note are that this is per school, so this would not impact your entire district. So just keep in mind, you may have that one school that's very creative and very willing. Please send them our way. And another thing to note is that if this goes well, we will be extending this to next year. So just things to keep in mind if you are not selected for this year. But do you have a cafeteria that's ready to dive into the world of scratch cooking and locally grown foods but is unsure where to begin? Well, this grant is for you. So we have partnered with the Chef Ann Foundation. They're going to develop recipes for us and provide culinary training to us. Ideal candidates will have very minimal scratch cooking experience, but have a desire to learn, and they want to incorporate more local ingredients into their menus. However, we would encourage anyone that's interested to apply for this. And we're going to select approximately 10 schools. The challenge is going to include recipe testing, culinary training, grant funds, an open house event, and there will also be a fabulous culinary workshop opportunity that I'll get to share with you about. Okay, so first up, the selected schools will test creative recipes developed by the Chef Ann Foundation, and these are going to feature Alabama Harvest of the Month items, and you'll prepare and serve these dishes to your students through engaging taste tests. Each school will test approximately 1 or 2 recipes each month from March to September 2025. This will not be during the summer months. And the recipes will be designed for 50 or 100 servings. We've asked them to be very simplistic and like very simple scratch cooking recipes. These are going to highlight Alabama grown items first and foremost, but when possible, we are also going to be incorporating USDA foods and SWP items into these recipes as well. You will enjoy on-site culinary assistance during one of your recipe development days. It's going to be from the Chef Ann Foundation. They've mentioned that if they have time, they love to do nutrition education with your students and also go with the manager and the staff to speak with the principal just to fill them in on what this is about and what we're trying to accomplish. So recipes that get the thumbs up from students and also from staff will be featured in a recipe book, and we hope to share this recipe book with districts across Alabama. Very excited about this resource. So as part of this, we will recognize these schools in our recipe book, and we hope that this will benefit all Alabama districts by having these tested recipes. Some examples of some recipes that they've mentioned to us. These are still subject to change, but peanut butter breakfast bars for those of you that serve peanuts in your cafeterias. Kale smoothies. We even have some turmeric cauliflower recipe, which we think will be really fun. And apple sheet pan pancakes. So these are just a few of the recipes that we're looking at, and we're very excited. So the second part of this grant is culinary training. You will receive a one-day hands-on culinary class from the Chef Ann Foundation in June or July. They will actually come to your school cafeteria and teach this class. And one special stipulation about this is you'll need to be able to host up to 20 people in the cafeteria. We are going to open this up once we have our nominees and everyone. We're going to open this up to more districts around the state so that people can benefit from it. But you would just need to be willing to host up to 20 people in your cafeteria. And also your staff will be able to choose one self-paced course from Chef Ann's School Food Institute. And these are valued at least $100 a class, and each of your staff in that school would have access to it. Recipes and menu development plant forward, ingredients for healthier kids, and salad bars in schools. So great opportunity there for some training. And we know that you will need subgrant funds to be able to do this, so we're going to equip you with that. Each selected school will receive approximately $5,000 in subgrant funds, and these can be used for food costs that are related to your recipe development, taste testing, and your open house events. And travel to the culinary training, they're going to come to you, but if for some reason you need to send staff to a different one, subgrant funds can be used to cover this. And also the amazing April 2025 event, you'll be able to write off that travel to that subgrant. And small equipment related to farm to school preparation, that's going to include food processors, blenders, things like that. You'll be able to purchase with this grant. And also grow towers. We have permission to do this for very limited circumstances. So for taste testing and agriculture education purposes, you could purchase a grow tower for your district, for that school. And we had such a huge success from our open house events that we wanted to continue that with this grant. We think it's fabulous to be able to promote your program to specifically parents in the community. That's where we're seeing the most gains. But a requirement of this program will be to host an exciting event in July or August of this year to promote your child nutrition program. You will prepare and sample 3 recipes that you have already created for your students. However, you're going to be gearing this more towards parents in the community. It'll just need to be an event that they have access to attend, parents in the community. And then the ALSDE will be able to supply you with promotional items. We have bags, cups, bookmarks, seed packets. We hope that this will help to make your event a success. And then last, but certainly not least, we have our optional innovative workshop opportunity, and you guys are not going to want to miss this. The only reason we made it optional was because we know your cafeterias can't operate if no one's there. So some people are going to need to stay back and hold down the fort, but you'll be able to send some from the schools to attend this amazing workshop. And we're going to have culinary training and farm tours in Tuscaloosa on April 7th and 8th. You will learn how to incorporate Alabama-grown mushrooms into school meals from a fine dining chef in the Tuscaloosa area. You will explore the underground forest and visit Tuscaloosa County Schools' unique teaching farm to inspire creativity and innovation in your school nutrition program. All right, so these are some photos of this workshop opportunity. And so over on the left-hand side, we have the underground forest. So Martin Blair, he is a mushroom farmer in Alabama, and he really believes in the health benefits of mushrooms. And I would say that's pretty much fact out there. But there is a link between mushrooms and brain health. And so he's very interested in talking about just the link between like ADHD and autism and how potentially mushrooms could help with this. So he's going to be talking about this to cafeteria staff, as well as also they're going to be sharing recipes that you can use in your school meal programs. That Tuscaloosa chef will be teaching about that. And then over on the right-hand side, we have the Tuscaloosa County Teaching Farm. And you can join us as we take a hayride farm of a hayride tour of the farm with stops by each animal area. This tour is going to include cows, sheep, goats, a donkey, and also honeybees. We'll see their production garden, orchard, and forestry area. And they really do a really great job in incorporating these things into their school meal programs, even potentially wanting to incorporate honey into their school meal programs. So we hope that this is going to inspire your staff and just pave the way ahead. So what do you need to do to be selected for this program? Your school and district will need to be in good standing with the ALSDE to be selected for this program. So this means that the district meets all requirements in its program operations, is current with its financial obligations, and if applicable, has implemented all corrective action from prior administrative reviews. So for this program, the ALSDE will seek to select districts representing various regions across Alabama. So that's important to us. We want to get a good selection. Ideal candidates are going to have minimal scratch cooking experience, but have that desire to learn. However, we encourage anyone that's interested to apply for this or for you to nominate them for this. One thing to note is that this program is separate from the Team Nutrition Training Grant, and personal incentives are not available as part of this program. I have some interest meetings coming up. You can forward these to your staff. I'm going to be giving them the same level of detail that I gave to you this morning in Table Talk, but this is just an opportunity for them to hear us speak about it and also to ask any questions that they could have about it. These meeting links are in the email that we sent out earlier in this week. So the majority of staff at the nominated school need to be interested in participating, and directors may nominate as many schools as they would like. So nominations are due to be submitted by 5 p.m. on Friday, February the 14th. And we have Courtney Williams here. She is from the Chef Ann Foundation. She's going to tell you a little bit about Chef Ann and also the team that will be working on this project.
Thank you so much, Devin. Hey, everyone. My name is Courtney Williams, and like Devin said, I'm representing the Chef Ann Foundation. And so I'll be giving you a slight overview of the foundation and our team. I'm super excited to be here with y'all. Devin, could you go to the next slide? I don't have access. Thank you. And so now a little bit about the Chef Ann Foundation. We all know that school lunch is critical to student health and well-being and ensures that students have nutrition they need throughout the day to learn. The Chef Ann Foundation, we also go by CAF, is dedicated to promoting whole ingredient scratch cooking in schools, all the fun stuff, salad bars, bulk milk, et cetera, et cetera. And since 2009, CAF has worked with schools across the country to implement healthy school meal programs. And to date, we have reached over 14,000 schools and 3.4 million students. So in partnership with the Alabama State Department of Education, CAF is working to create sustainable change in Alabama's school nutrition programs. So with that being said, we will have some amazing people working with this program. And let me just say that everyone is super, super, super excited. And although they are not on this call, I'm going to introduce everyone really quickly. I have everyone's pictures. So Lori Nelson, she is the Chief Officer of School Food Operations. She will direct strategy for TA, which is technical assistance, do operations support and provide oversight to the operations specialist. Brandy will support the development of on-site culinary training and recipe development. She's already started the recipe development, and just like Devin said, the recipes sound amazing, especially the turmeric collard greens. And Rachel will conduct on-site culinary training, help support with taste testing, and provide virtual technical assistance as needed. And then there's Patrick. He's the senior operations specialist, and he will also conduct on-site culinary training and support recipe development. And then there's me, Courtney. I will be the main point of contact for program coordination, virtual and on-site technical assistance, and just coordinating everything and travel coordination. And I think, yeah, I think that's it. It's so good being here with everyone, and I'm so happy to work with y'all.
Thank you, Courtney. We're so excited to work with Chef Ann Foundation. All right, so next up we have Alabama's latest HMI winners. And I just want to say, I think Alabama may have the most winners. I think that we may have some of the most winners. So anyway, we have Auburn City. They recently won an award in innovation in nutrition education. Athens City won innovation in nutrition education as well. Elmore County with innovation in the preparation of school meals and innovation in nutrition education. Limestone County with Innovative School Lunch Makeover, and Marshall County in Innovation in the Preparation of School Meals. So you can go on to the HMI website and see the different awards. They have these more in detail. I've talked with you guys a lot today, so but anyway, you can go onto the map and you can see the details behind each of these awards and with the districts. So we are so proud of our Alabama districts, and we hope that even more of you will apply. They're still taking applications through, I think it's the end of May or June. And so each of these districts will get to go to the HMI conference in Las Vegas that will be taking place in October this upcoming year. So we hope that you'll consider applying as well. All right, Alabama's Junior Chef competition took place on January the 17th, and we had 5 teams to compete, and we love all of the dishes that were created. In first place, we have Haleyville City Schools with their Korean barbecue chicken sandwich. They amazed the judges with the quick pickled vegetables that went on it and just the flavor of the dish. Wonderful, great job, guys. And in second place, we have DeKalb County Schools with their Meatless Monday Southwest Barbecue Nachos. They used jackfruit to actually provide the meat flavor in the dish. Very creative. And in third place, we have Fort Payne City Schools with their Sweet Chili Chicken Noodle Bowl. And this is the Haleyville City Schools team. They will be competing at nationals in May at Sullivan University in Kentucky. So we are so excited for them, and I'm excited to have them represent us. And then these are just a couple of pictures from, I think, each of the districts. And one thing I just wanted to note is that I feel like our teams were just so well behaved. They were so polite and so kind and just so wonderful. And so I'm just so proud of all of our Alabama students, and each of the dishes that they created were very creative. So we hope that everyone will consider competing again next year. And next up is Joe Clark with Top Topics.
Hey y'all, I'm here to talk to you about, hold on, there we go, the annual report. That was sent out earlier this week, I believe Wednesday, no, it's been maybe Monday. But that was sent out to all SFAs. That's going to take the place of the financial profiles for our public schools and the CNPAR that the privates and RCCIs completed previously. You may remember you got this back in October, and then we told you to ignore it, and then they were all voided. That one was sent out before it was ready, and we didn't have all the kinks worked out of it first. Some of the computations weren't correct, so it would, where it was asking you for a percentage, it was reporting it as a decimal number. So instead of, like, if your number came back at 54%, it was putting it at 0.54%. So your numbers on your updated DocuSign, there will be a drastic change if you're just looking at just the percentages itself, but the calculation is actually correct on the new DocuSign. If your calculations show an operating balance greater than 3 months, then it will require you to submit a corrective action plan, aka a spin down plan, with your submission. You can email me with any questions. You do have to provide your supporting documentation for your numbers, but it should help you in that you won't be waiting around for your information. You'll actually be submitting it to us, and then we just verify it and sign off. If you have a corrective action plan, we review that and either send it back for adjustment or approve it. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. don't try to call me because I'm probably not going to be in the office due to administrative reviews, but I can always find time to respond to an email. That's all I got.
All right, there we go. Good morning. Um, First thing I have this morning is the SFA Real Property Identification Survey. As Chad mentioned, that was sent out back last Thursday, January the 23rd. This survey is a requirement from USDA for state agencies to identify and report real property owned by any subgrantee based on the regulations of 2 CFR 200.330. This only pertains to your SFA, not your school district's real property, things that have been bought with federal funds for your SFA. Whether you have real property or not, you should have already completed this survey. If you have not, please use the link that's on the slide. I'll also put it in the chat box. Please submit that as soon as Table Talk is over. Next topic I have this morning is a virtual user group for Titan. It's going to be, sorry, I've lost my place. Friday, February the 28th at 1:30 p.m. It's going to be a Zoom call. Link and Titan have recently swapped from Teams over to Zoom. So if you've done a previous call, this will be a different platform. It's going to have a variety of different presenters from Link. It'll have our typical team that includes Michelle Michaels, but Carla Yamada is the Director of Strategic Resolutions for Client Experience, and she's going to have some of the team from Link Connect on there as well. We've heard from several of you saying y'all are having issues with the Link Connect platform with changes and need additional information. So this webinar and virtual user groups meant to try to help you with that and allow you a time to get to connect with those that should be able to help you. And that's all I have.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to go over the SUN programs for this summer. I'm not able to advance.
Right click on your screen and use your page up and page down buttons and see if that gets you there.
No, it does not.
Okay, hang on.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll do it for you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to share this rebranding that USDA has come up with for the summer meals program. We now refer to it as the Summer Nutrition Programs for Kids, which is the SUN programs. And we are going to be using this rebranding this summer and going forward. So under the SUN Meals program, we have the traditional congregate meal service for SFSP and SSO. The SUN Meals to Go is primarily the rural non-congregate feeding option, and that includes the parent guardian pickup, home deliveries, and the mobile route distribution. And lastly, we have SunBucks. This is the first year that Alabama is going to be doing SunBucks, which is summer EBT. So we are excited about that and actually have a very limited involvement in that, but our involvement in it is going to be very important. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Okay, Robbie, thank you. So we sent out a public release regarding summer feeding on January 17th, and it was brought to our attention that the school nutrition directors did not receive the public release. So it was sent out inadvertently in a very limited exposure on the 17th, and we sent it out again on January 23rd. So you should have received that by now. On that press release was a link to register for training. As you know, if you're operating summer feeding, the traditional summer food service program for children, you have to go through annual training. If you're operating the Seamless Summer program, we will also have training for that as well. It's all being done virtually this year. There is a QR code and a link on the screen that if you have not registered, that you can use to register for those programs, for those trainings. New directors, just know that summer feeding and SSO are optional. It is not required, but we strongly recommend that if you are offering the summer program that you offer the Seamless Summer option because it's very consistent with the program you're currently operating, the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program. The summer feeding program, the traditional SFSP, has a different set of regulations and guidelines. For those sponsors who are operating both Seamless Summer and the Summer Food Service Program, you will have to complete all of the training modules. Those training presentations are going to be released in a series of 3 iterations starting today, and we will release February 7th and February 14th. Again, the sponsors who are doing both summer feeding and SSO must review all training modules for SFSP. The SSO training is a very short presentation, so that should not create a lot of issues for you. Once your summer feeding and SSO training is complete, again, it will be done virtually. There will be a training assessment. Once that assessment or verification of training is complete, then you will gain access to the online application. We're very hopeful that we can have all applications in by May 1st. According to federal regulations, you have until June 15th. But if you're wanting to operate, of course, in May or June, we're going to have the applications complete and approved before June 15th. So in the best of all possible worlds, that May 1st date will give you 2 months, March and April, to complete the application. And that will also give us time to go out and do the pre-approval visits and give you time to get your program up and ready to go based on your operating date. Okay, Robbie. And lastly, what's happening for summer 2025? So hold on, summer feeding will be doing the LINKS online application. CACFP was the first to roll it out. So for those of you who are doing CACFP and have experienced the LINK application, there will probably be some similarities between the programs, and you probably have a head start in front of everyone else, but we will be rolling that out in the summer. That training will also come in the form of a pre-recorded video and a manual. If you are operating the Seamless Summer program, you will not be using the LINKS application. If you're solely doing the Seamless Summer option, you will continue to request approval to participate using the old online application. We're hoping this year to expand the rural non-congregate meals. Last year, we did see an increase in the number of meals served between summer 23 and summer 24, and we think that's largely due to the non-congregate meals. Just remember the rural non-congregate meals are for self-prep sponsors only and can offer unitized or bulk meals. In order to help you to be able to expand your rural non-congregate meal offerings, No Kid Hungry is offering a grant opportunity, and you can scan that QR code. And this is specifically for organizations that are wanting to serve rural communities by expanding non-congregate feeding models as part of the summer feeding program or the Seamless Summer option. So if you scan that QR code, it's going to take you to a link, and I'm sorry, it's going to take you to a form, and it's sort of an interest form or an inquiry form. And we will be working rather closely with No Kid Hungry on this because, of course, they don't want to provide funding for an organization that hasn't been approved by the state agency. So it's important if you are interested in this grant opportunity, once we start releasing those training modules, go ahead and get those done. And so that you can have access to the online application and get it approved to be able to release the funds if you are chosen for No Kid Hungry. This year, we are also, as always, looking into increasing program integrity. Link is going to be rolling out a meal counter. I understand last year the meal counting process or the product that was shared with you guys did not work properly. So it is my hope that this year we'll have a better program in place to make sure that our meal counts are accurate. In fact, we'll be meeting with Links on Monday to have discussions about that and to hopefully do some training on the meal counter ourselves and some testing of it. So the other really new thing is summer EBT. And I know that you probably have heard quite a bit about it. What I want to do today is just give you a basic overview of what we're trying to accomplish. First of all, the Department of Education is a partnering organization. We are not heading up summer EBT. So we are working in tandem with DHR really doing the heavy lifting on this program. They have hired a vendor to administer the program, and that means that our involvement of what we are expecting from you as a school food authority is to help us with outreach. The vendor will be providing promotional materials and basic information for program access. And we're hoping what that looks like for you is that they will provide canned promotional materials that you can put on your website or text messages that can be sent out to parents. One of the things that we know is that parents do trust school systems with information. We don't want you to be the repository for all of that information, but just more of a conduit. That if you guys could just help us get the information to parents or show them where they need to get the information, that will be wonderful. Eligible children. We've also heard a lot of questions about this. So all students on your DC file will be eligible for summer EBT benefits, automatic eligibility. The exception is the extended eligibility students will not be automatically eligible. Only those students who are the DC eligible child. That's going to be confusing to parents because, of course, in National School Lunch and School Breakfast, you get that extended eligibility. So what DHR is planning to do is to send each child a EBT card, a Sunbucks EBT card, loaded with $120 for the summer months. And this is a singular service or a singular transmission of funds. So each child will have a card. If that household has a child whose benefits were extended but does not get a card, that household will need to apply for benefits through the third-party vendor. So just for your information, again, the students on your DC file are automatically eligible. The exception is the extended eligibility students. Your free or reduced students, if you're collecting free or reduced applications this year, those students will be automatically eligible as well. Those data will be pulled by our IT department in May and transferred over to DHR. And the last thing I want to say about summer EBT is it is not PEBT. So the schools that are doing the community eligibility provision, those students who are not DC eligible are not automatically eligible for summer EBT. They would have to make application through the third party vendor as well. I know that's a lot, but I just at least wanted to give you guys a brief overview of what's going on with summer EBT because we know you're going to be getting questions about it. Again, we do not expect you to be the repository of knowledge for these programs, but to at least be able to help us get the parents pointed in the right direction to get information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Loria. So, lots of good information about summer programs. And if you have questions, reach out to Loria and her team, and they'll be happy to help you. So, the good news is our training tidbits are going to be short and sweet today. First, I want to say that we just are coming off of a fantastic 3-day training with our new directors. They have been here with us this week in the building, and that training was facilitated by ICN, their Introduction to School Nutrition Leadership Program. They were actually using us for a pilot to turn it into a 3-day program. We're going to be working in conjunction with them moving forward for all of our new director training. We had a lot of good feedback, a lot of good discussion. And those new directors, I see some of you on, y'all were troopers, and we just want you all to know that we appreciate you stepping yourself out there into the field of child nutrition, and you've got a whole team of people to support you both at the state office and out there in the districts, because that's what our directors do. They support each other and help one another venture through this program. So again, great new director training. And then, of course, we'll have another one coming about towards the end of summer before the next school year begins. So, moving forward, the only thing we have on the horizon right now is going to be our spring conference. And as always, we work in conjunction with the Alabama School Nutrition Association. They always say they drive the bus for this conference, not me. So I'm not worried about where you're going to sleep at night. They are. And you did just get a new email today saying that they have added another hotel to the block. So if people are still looking for rooms, you can direct them to that. We will be on the front end of spring conference the first 2 days. May 1st, that'll be a Thursday afternoon. And then May 2nd, that will be Friday morning. That will be when ALSDE staff will be presenting. The majority of what we're going to be talking about will be financial related. I always get that question. So we focus very heavily on all things financial at spring conference. We'll get that agenda out to you as soon as we get it buttoned up, but I will tell you it's financial stuff for the most part. I know that ASNA has a fantastic conference planned for everybody. They will have great breakout sessions, not only for your frontline workers and managers, but for directors as well. Some of our staff will be presenting for them at their portion of the conference, and we're excited to do that. In case you've missed it, this is the blurb for their conference with the QR code that if you have not registered, you could scan that and go ahead and get registered. So without further ado, let's start wrapping it up here, guys. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Sharon Allison, and she's going to tell us all about our sponsor spotlight. So Sharon.
Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate it. Can you get it to page down? It's not working.
Yeah, just a second. I'll have to change me back.
Well, today I would like, as our January sponsor spotlight, present Dr. Ashley Powell. Ashley has been in as a director at Auburn City, and I think she'd like me to also say that great home of Auburn Tigers, and on top of that, War Eagle. She has been there 17 years as the director. She has also served in Athens, Georgia for 2 years. She actually has 14 schools and is on the way to adding 2 more, and I think adding another high school along with that. She has 58 employees, and in discussion with her, her favorite part of her job is the variety and the darling little faces of little ones coming through the lunch line. I know we always appreciate that too when we're serving lunch. One of the most meaningful part of her job is I love knowing we are impacting the success of the upcoming generation. And yes, y'all do impact the upcoming generation. That is a big task, and we want to have a better generation as we go. Um, her best advice would be to find some friends in the business that will help you, look out for you, and encourage you when the going gets tough. I remember making friends with another CMP director when I was in Georgia as a coordinator. We were the youngest in the state and we're just learning together. We keep in touch to this day. I couldn't do it without the friendships in the business. So yes, you want to make contact with other directors that will help you through some of the struggles you have, and even the good parts too. But the least favorite part of her job is, of course, the council trucks and food shortages that are out of your control. And it sort of brings back a COVID anxiety every time that happens, I know, to all your directors. She also serves as a current position is the National School Nutrition Association level as the vice president. She made a comment. I am absolutely honored, and I hope to represent all of you well in all of our advocacy for our state and students. Can't thank you enough for your support. And Ashley, we want to thank you for all that you do to represent our state of Alabama. And we appreciate all the hard work you do. Thank you very much. That'll be it, Robbie.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Dr. Ashley Powell, on that recognition. We just have the best directors across the state. And I want to say thanks to the more than 80 of you out there hanging in with us for today. It's been tough, but it has been that way the entire month of January. I'm telling you, I'm going to wake up a happy camper tomorrow. That January will be over and we're just going to move on to the month of love, February. Remember to complete your survey at the end of this. Here's the QR code. That is how you will get your certificate. So scan the QR code, do your little evaluation. We appreciate you hanging in there with us today. I don't know why it's been tough, but it just has. These are your friends right here, always willing and ready to answer your questions. If you have questions, let us know. We've got a new picture up. We're still working on finding the perfect picture. We just changed so fast. So that's what we're here for, to help you. Let us know if you need anything. I hope you all have a great afternoon and a great weekend. Thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next month. Okay, I'm going back to the QR code. Well, I think I am. There you go. And